Hello and welcome to your program of choice, Health Affair on AIT. It is a platform where we focus on public health challenges, issues about women and children with a view to very lasting solutions. I am a regular anchor, Shomowa Danis. Our focus today is on sugar-sweetened beverages and their impact on human health. It is an issue that concerns each and every one of us, so please stay tuned, don't go away. We'll be right back after the news segment.
For the benefit of all humanity who may one way or another find themselves in Lagos and may have need to treat.
This four-story building contains 120 beds and associated furniture, which includes overbed tables, bedside lockers, mattresses, pillows, and Macintosh. The facilities that got a facelift include the waiting room, nursing stations, private wards, consulting rooms, radiation room, slush room, doctors and nurses' call rooms, and administrative offices. We are delighted to be part of the progress in giving more to Lagosians. Better healthcare. Healthcare delivery is one of the four pillars of Nigeria LNG corporate social responsibility interventions. The rest are education, infrastructure, and empowerment. We have always anchored our implementation strategy on partnership and stakeholding. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll conclude this speech by calling on authorities of Luth to ensure that these facilities are put into very effective use, not just for patients, but also for trainee doctors, nurses, and others.
Let me first begin by commending the board and management of Lagos State University Teaching Hospital for attracting funding from various multinational companies, non-governmental organizations, individuals, and corporate bodies for infrastructural renewal of Luth in the last 8 years. It is important to note that Block C was built about 60 years ago and has not undergone any major renovation since then. The federal government of Nigeria and the Ministry of Health are particularly grateful to Nigeria LNG for this wonderful gesture and corporate social responsibility.
On behalf of the Board of Management of Luth, staff and students of Luth, and Nigeria in general, I would like to publicly appreciate this singular effort by Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas. LNG deserves a round of applause.
The government needs to come up with more proper policy and laws against this violence. And not only that, they have to implement it. It has to be implemented, not only making the policy, they have to make it work. And they have to work together because they can't do it alone with different groups, traditional groups that have the grassroots level to make sure that this is being curbed and stopped properly.
We continue to talk to them, like this program will come to, and that will be taken down to the grassroots, so people will learn from it. We will talk to them that it creates more problem for the girl child later in life, during childbirth. In fact, during the healing process, it may be a problem. At times, the part of the vagina that is removed, at times when it's healing, it becomes a problem and it joins together and it becomes a big hole and it's permanent. It could even lead to leakages of urine.
We have realized that the data on sexual and gender-based violence is not going down, and also it's because the work is being done, but we need to get more to grassroots communities. So for us to be able to address social norms, so that's why Ford Foundation is supporting this project to enable us get across to people in grassroots communities. And we feel that the best gateway to that is through the women chiefs in the communities. And there are two major women chiefs in every council in Yoruba land. It's the Iyalode and the Iyaloja. Iyaloja is in charge of markets, while Iyalode is in charge of women. So, and that's why we have decided to work with them. Now, the reason why this is important is that, for them to be good advocates, it becomes very important for them to understand the issues, to be well grounded in the issues. So this is part of the training, and they are going to come out with a roadmap of how they are going to work in their different communities to end sexual and gender-based violence.
Convener of the event, a renowned psychiatrist and therapist, Dr. Maimuna Yusuf Kadri, spoke on the need to create a safe and harmonious community for men and people in general.
People are speaking out about their struggles with mental health, and as a society, we are also beginning to recognize the importance of addressing mental health. However, despite the progress that we have made so far, there is still much work to be done. Mental health issues are still highly stigmatized and often misunderstood.
The professionals also spoke on the importance of stress management in overcoming mental health illness.
A lot of people who are hiding a lot of their mental issues behind the facade of happiness, of joy, of pretty pictures, So we are here today to peel off the layers, of that mind, so that we get to see deeply what it means to have mental health and how we can live with our mental health.
A study has shown that 14% of the whole population in Nigeria have a form of mental disorder, or one or the other. So if you are going through anything, the best thing is to reach out to professionals for help.
I have suffered from mental health issues and I'm able to come out of it. Sometimes you don't totally come out of it, but you learn to live with it. Mental health is not madness. You are totally sane, but sometimes it may happen due to so many things, due to trauma, due to how you grew up, due to something you faced in the past. So if you're suffering from mental health, I don't want you to relegate yourself. You are okay, and you can get through it, because your mind is the most powerful thing ever. Once you think anything, you can do it. So your thoughts always have to be positive.
The event featured panel sections with notable key industry leaders, a tour of the hemodialysis ward and other new facilities in company of some senior management team at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Luth, Idiaraba, Lagos, Nigeria. This visit by one of the world's best cardiothoracic surgeons, Professor Samuel Adetola Adebonojo, is indeed a sign of hope that the future of Nigeria's medical sector is very bright. With 57 years of experience in his chosen profession that has taken him across major health institutions around the world, Professor Adebonojo says the winning way for anyone who wants to become a successful medical professional is to have faith in God and be committed to the well-being of their patients.
The fate of medicine hasn't changed. Medicine is the same thing as it was thousands of years ago. And as long as we know what we're doing, as long as we have faith and believe in our fellow men, like the Good Samaritan, do unto others as you wish they do unto you. When you see somebody, don't think that they are from the north or south. They're human beings like you. Stop and take care of them, whether they have money to pay or not. Be conscientious, hardworking, and to have your patients as your primary care, and to take care of them very well. Know that there's nothing impossible in this world if you have your faith in God. And if you work hard, you will achieve it.
Professor Adebonojo, who spent time with the experts at Luth during the reception held in his honor, sharing from his wealth of experience, appeals to Nigerians to change their ways and shun corruption.
We have to know that we are called to serve our fellow men and to be faithful to it, not to run after money. Money is irrelevant. You don't have to have money to do, God will provide. But Nigeria needs to pray to God to change us, to abhor corruption and to have faith in your fellow men. Because without faith in your fellow men, you are lost. And I pray to God that the Lord will change this country. So I have faith in this country. I do. And that's why I keep coming back every time.
In the time when Prof was very active, that was in the 70s, in the 80s, and early 90s probably, the kind of discipline that we had then, so many things have been said about that is not common. But that is actually one of the reasons why you need to celebrate him. So that you can see that quite almost about 80% of those who are here are younger colleagues, meaning that apart from the younger colleagues, you also see direct mentees of Prof, meaning that there are things that are, when you say Nigeria was what it was in 1970, 1980, 1990, and now it is what it is today, what is the difference? That difference is what we have seen today. And the question is that if you want Nigeria to be exactly the way it was in terms of discipline, in terms of integrity 30, 40 years ago, you have to behave exactly the way those who are there behave. That's the lesson. If you look at where we were 4 years ago, 8 years ago, before the advent of this administration, in terms of facilities, it is obvious when you move around our hospitals now, not only that we are proud of what we see on ground, people that we bring in. You also realize that Prof mentioned it when I took him around the hospital. I sincerely hope that the new administration will build on what we have presently.
He expressed faith in the country Nigeria, saying that the best is yet to come.
A Herculean age, an intelligent eye, a nuclear end, and an emphatic E.
Committee of Friends of the Chief Medical Director, Professor Chris Body, will present to you what we love very dearly. We believe we love it.
With over 9 world-class completed projects befitting for any modern hospital and countless others ongoing, Professor Chris Body and those who know him can attest to the fact that he has left Luth far better than he met it.
Good tidings from the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Adley. He has requested that I congratulate Professor Body for a very successful tenure of 8 years and to acknowledge the very excellent service that Professor Body has rendered to Luth. The cancer center that he built, if you look at the cancer ward that was built, if you look at the Olusholadada, that dialysis center that he built, where else in this country would you find such big, huge project attracted by one single person?
He has made being CMD look so easy. His achievements in the last almost a decade has been outstanding, and not just in terms of infrastructure, but in changing the way things are done. And I think on this one I have to say thank you.
We have to give honor where due, and I came here out of my very busy schedule to really honor this great man on the day of his retirement. And we wish him well.
Humbling roller coaster experience, full of challenges, thrills, achievements, ups and downs, but to God's glory, I'm happy, and I humbly say Luth is better. This, no doubt, was as a result of the collaboration with us from good people. A lot of goodwill came into making Luth what it is today. We had initial challenges, distrust among our staff and management, even among staffs generally. But with help from God, we were able to foster a harmonious relationship. We built trust.
The retired but not tired professor sees a brighter future ahead for the hospital and Nigeria in general, if more attention can be given to the welfare of healthcare professionals, increased budgetary allocation, and a fully operational National Health Insurance Authority.
Equipment we use, if an equipment I'm using gets to the end of its lifespan, I must have enough money to replace it. We don't have that yet, because we, doing the good work, are the ones subsidizing the cost of healthcare for many who cannot afford it. But with the Health Insurance Act, with universal health insurance coverage, there will be more money. There should be more money allocated to service givers, carers, so that health care will become an industry, a vibrant industry. We have not yet scratched the surface of the healthcare industry as a business. The incoming president should help us turn it into a humongous business that will serve Nigerians for. If people in the healthcare sector get paid very well for the work they are doing, if they have the wherewithal to work with, all of which can be provided by the National Health Insurance Authority, those who have gone abroad, they will jackpada.
Professor Christopher Olusanjo Bode is a distinguished pediatric surgeon and the immediate past Chief Medical Director, Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Luth. He graduated from the University of Ife. The federal government approved this appointment as the Chief Medical Director of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital in March 2015, a position he held with utmost dedication that has translated to this world-class health facility today. In his parting message, Professor Bode said, Nigerians can faithfully serve their country and make good things happen with collaboration and peaceful coexistence. Welcome back. The rising cases of non-communicable diseases across the world has become a public health concern. More worrisome is the fact that low-income countries like Nigeria account for a larger percentage of this burden. This informed the sugar-sweetened beverage tax initiative that is our focus on the program today.
Because they said sugars will not be too much. That's just the impression. They said sugars will not be too much and it's not less. So based on that, I believe I have to just take mirrors just to bring sugar so that I cannot less.
Mr. Oladejo Olajide is a resident of Ijede community in Ikorodu area of Lagos State. On a daily basis, he takes no less than 2 bottles of soft drinks. It is until lately he was forced to drop the habit due to diabetes mellitus. Like Mr. Olajide, many Ijede residents and by extension Nigerians are addicted to the consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages, and a bottle of such drinks contains about 12 cubes of sugar. Sugar, when consumed, gets converted into glucose in the human body. The excessive intake of these drinks coupled with heavy carbohydrate meals have exposed many people to obesity, diabetes, and other lifestyle diseases.
I'm spending nothing less than 40,000 per month to take care of diabetes. I want to advise especially old people, elderly people above 40, do away with it. One has to discipline himself, make sure you do away with it. If you want to live long, I don't want to have a challenges that can give your family problem. Whether you like it or not, you have to live or reduce it.
As I'm talking to you, if you get to the general hospital, you will see a lot of diabetes patients. And the money they are spending in order to treat themselves is not encouraging. A lot of them are begging and seeking for assistance of the government, are seeking assistance of the philanthropists within the community. If nobody is going to assist them, where they will be? They should be expecting them to be in the cemetery within the little period, because it's really the danger in it is really affecting the community.
They are not short-term disease. Once you have a heart disease, the heart disease is forever. Once you have diabetes, it's forever. Once you have sickle cell disease, it's forever. Once you have cancer, it's forever. All these diseases are not short-term diseases. They are long-term forever that you live with forever. And it takes even time before you get it. So that is why I have mentioned at the beginning of our discussion that this disease should be addressed.
Although there is no official statistics for the burden of non-communicable diseases in Nigeria, the World Health Organization, WHO, Non-Communicable Disease 2016 country profile estimates that non-communicable diseases cause approximately 29% of total deaths in the country.
The way out of this challenge posed by the consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages, otherwise known as SSBs, is to tax those products that contain these dangerous sugars that people consume and lead to obesity and diabetes. So it has worked in different parts of the world, and that's why Nigeria as a country also has adopted a 10 naira per liter tax on sugar-sweetened beverages. But we believe that is not substantial enough because the WHO recommended standard is to have 20% SSB tax on the final retail product. So the reflection, it should reflect on the final product that is bought by consumers. Before now, there's been this misinformation going around that those who the prices the prices of these SSBs, the minerals and all those things go up, that there will be job losses in the companies that are producing these things, and that Nigerians will have to pay more. The message is skewed in a way that makes it seem like it's a bad policy, but it is not a bad policy. The aim ultimately of having taxes, of taxing SSBs as much as what the WHO is recommended, which is 20%, is to discourage buying of those products, is to discourage consumption of those products. For instance, that in a bottle of mineral, there are about 12 cubes of sugar. So you can imagine someone consuming 12 cubes of sugar. Ideally, will a sane person do that? But then these producers of those products, they put these things there and people start consuming, and without knowing that it's going to have adverse effect on them. And that's why we have this high level of cancers, diabetes, obesity among our people. So what we have come here to do essentially is to educate the people, so that when the prices of these products that contain sugar-sweetened beverages go up, they know that government is not doing them a disservice. Rather, government is doing the right thing to discourage consumption of those products.
We do not expect them to be able to cut off immediately, because sugar is addictive. No nutritional value, but it is addictive. And from sugar-sweetened beverages goes straight into the body. So it has the opportunity to do more damage than what they get usually. We want the people to begin to desist very much, and also support the government, because this initiative is pro-health, is pro-people, and as they support the people, the government, they must also ask the government to take it a step further, increase the tax, and begin to earmark it for public health.
WHO recommended about 70% of the total retail price. Even what the Nigerian government that new tax regime of 10 naira per 1 litre is less than 10% of the retail price, because even if you want to go to 10%, some of those, let's say some of those Diesases sells for about 500 now or 600. That means it should be like 60 naira or thereabout. So what we are saying is that yes, it's a step in the right direction, but our government should move towards being compliant with WHO. Government should move gradually from 10% to 20% to 40%, and then gradually we can move towards 70% of the retail price. For them, it's about profit. For us, it's about the health of the people. And when there is a conflict between profit and public health, government should side, people should side with public health. Now, each time government is trying to do the right thing, each time the government is trying to put in place policies about public health, corporations that benefit for those unwholesome practices will come about with a lot of arguments. Do you understand? We've seen this before for most of those industries that produce bad products, to say, oh, people are going to lose their jobs and stuff like that. But don't forget that when people start to stop certain lifestyles, they do not throw away the money they have used to indulge in such lifestyle. Rather, they spend the money on very wholesome activities that will make the economy grow. And that economy that is growing, in case there is even job losses here, will be absorbed by the wholesome practices and wholesome spending of the people. Do you understand? So there is no net loss.
And let the people producing this focus a lot more on making the healthier alternatives available to people. So while the consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages is reduced, we find out that the alternatives in terms of water, for example, is then increased. It's improved. Many times you find out that now water costs almost the same price as some of these soft drinks, and this is not so. Lifestyle modification is key in preventing many of these non-communicable diseases. I support the SSB tax in Nigeria.
There's individual responsibility. The government is trying, or there's a lot of advocacy of government taking more action, but individually to have the responsibility to control what we consume and what our children consume, what the people who depend on us, the people we are taking care of, what they consume. So I'm taking it. What I'm taking away now is that there's a level of individual responsibility. And the government too must come up with policies to protect the populace, the vulnerable. It is also incumbent on us to educate the parents that it's not love. You think you love your children so much, you think you are giving them love, but actually you may be damaging their health. And children also, when they take too much sugary things, they become super active because there's so much energy. And so some of them is also affecting their, not just physical well-being, but even their mental health. And you say this child is never stable, this child is always active, can't even sit down in one place. Sometimes it's the excess sugar in some instances. So parents must take responsibility. Individuals must take responsibility.
Beyond the reduction in the intake of sugar-sweetened beverages to reduce non-communicable diseases, health experts are also calling for lifestyle modification by way of regular exercises and screening to know their health status.
The infrastructure is not there, and then you then have lifestyles that are also compound their health. Then that's like double jeopardy. And so we begin by educating the people about how they can live healthy lifestyles, and then how government itself can create the environment that can encourage and make people to live healthy lifestyles.
We talk of physical activity, sedentary activities. Do not sit for a long period. Try to exercise. And we say exercise, which is physical activity. When you do physical activity, like please, we recommend for an adult at least 150 minutes per week. If you can do exercise of 150 minutes per week, like 30 minutes every other day, depending on whatever you do, if you walk, if you jog, if you swim, that's a form of physical activity. So that is also very good for you.
For those already living with the disease, there are calls for inclusion of non-communicable diseases in the National Health Insurance Authority to reduce the burden of out-of-pocket payments. This is how we wrap it up today. Thanks for spending your time with us. Join us same time next week for another interesting edition of the show. I remain yours truly, Oshomowa Danis. Please keep staying safe.